Are you ready to become the strongest version of yourself? Stoicism is the key. In this video, I will share how to apply Stoic philosophy to become invincible in life. This is not just a way of life. It's the secret to turning every challenge into an opportunity for growth. Through this video, we will learn how to master our thoughts and emotions, achieving lasting happiness and inner peace. First, we will explore the definition of Stoicism. I have researched this concept on Wikipedia and many other sources. However, I found these definitions quite dry and hard to understand. So, I will tell you a story to make it easier to visualize. Once upon a time, thousands of years ago in ancient Greece, there was a man named Zeno. He was a very wealthy merchant who specialized in trading goods by sea. However, during one of his journeys, his ship sank, and he lost all the wealth he had worked hard to accumulate over the decades. After losing everything, he sat by the seaside, gazing at the distant horizon. People might think he was very sad and disappointed with his life. But no, he created Stoicism. He wanted to create a lifestyle so that next time, regardless of whether the boat carrying all his possessions continued to sink or similar hardships occurred, he could face them calmly and overcome them without feeling pain or despair. In simpler terms, he created Stoicism so that each of us, when applying this way of life, can achieve lasting happiness and inner peace, regardless of any storms or challenges we may encounter. This is the ultimate goal of Stoicism. And to achieve this, Stoicism presents the following fundamental principles. Focus on what can be controlled. Accept what cannot be controlled. And cultivate the ability to self-control regarding our thoughts, emotions, and actions. In addition, Stoicism encompasses many other principles. But in this video, I will focus on the most important ones. I will cover the remaining principles in the next video. Now, let's delve into each principle in detail for better understanding. First, we will explore the most important principle of Stoicism, which is to focus on what can be controlled and accept what cannot be controlled. So, what are the things we can control? You might think that we can control many things. But in reality, there are only 4 things we can completely control: our thoughts, emotions, actions, and reactions. Many of you may not believe this. So let me give you an example. A familiar example is the phone you might be holding right now. Do you think you can completely control this phone? We often believe that we have complete control over it. And when we press the power button, the phone should definitely turn on. However, most of us have experienced it at least once when we pressed the power button, but the phone didn't turn on. The reason could be that the battery is dead or the phone is broken. From this, we see that we cannot fully control the phone. There are external factors that can affect it, causing us to be unable to completely control it. Another example is using the brake. We might think that we have complete control over the brakes, and when we use them, the vehicle should definitely stop. I used to think that way until one day when I was driving home. I was on the main road when suddenly a car rushed out from an alley at high speed. I panicked and hit the brakes. But the brakes failed. The vehicle kept moving forward, and I had to use my foot to stop it. Fortunately, nothing happened. After that incident, I realized that the brakes are not something I can fully trust and control. Because if I could completely control them, then when I used them, the vehicle would definitely stop. Unlike in the story above, when we recognize that we cannot fully control things like our phones or car brakes, it's clear that we cannot control external factors such as the weather, natural disasters, or the thoughts and actions of others. Therefore, we can only control our thoughts, emotions, and actions. When we want to raise our arm, the arm will automatically go up. There's no way we can want to raise our arm and have it turn back to slap us. Because our actions are under our control. Of course, to fully control our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we need to put in the effort to train ourselves. It doesn't come naturally. We will discuss the training methods later. In addition to the things we can control and those we cannot, there are also things we can partially control. These are things that we can control only partially, not entirely. For example, in a romantic relationship between you and your crush, whether you can be together with your crush is something we can only control partially. In this case, what we can control is our actions, like the way we express our feelings, sincerity, and care. What we cannot control is whether the other person reciprocates our feelings. When we apply Stoicism, we should focus on what we can control, showing our feelings, and accept without expectations regarding what we cannot control, which is whether the other person will respond to our feelings. When we delve into analyzing a situation that we can control only partially, we see that it is actually a combination of things we can control and things we cannot control. Stoicism advises us to focus entirely on what can be controlled and to accept or disregard what cannot be controlled. The reason I emphasize this part so much is that it is the core of Stoicism. If we do not grasp this, we will not be able to apply other principles effectively. Now, let's move on to the next principle: cultivating the ability to self-control regarding our thoughts, emotions, and actions. Returning to the example of having a crush. Although we know that what we can control is expressing our feelings, whether the crush reciprocates those feelings is beyond our control. If the result is that the person agrees to be our lover, that would be wonderful. There's nothing better. However, there may be cases where the crush only sees us as a friend. How will we feel then? Of course, we will feel very heartbroken, with a tightness in our hearts. However, do Stoics feel this way? The answer is no. As a natural reaction, they may feel a fleeting sense of heartbreak, but shortly after, they regain emotional composure. Remember, as I mentioned before, Stoicism emphasizes that there are only 4 things we can control, and our emotions are one of them. So, how do Stoics master their emotions and thoughts? One thing that only those who have practiced Stoicism for many years possess, which others do not, is their belief system. They have a deep understanding and belief in what can be controlled and what cannot. These beliefs are ingrained in their subconscious over years, even decades. Belief is not merely hearing about this principle a few times. If we hear about this for the first time or have only heard about Stoicism a few times, that is merely understanding, not belief. Belief is something that is repeated many times and deeply ingrained in our subconscious. You may not realize it, but belief is one of the main factors that shape our emotions when we face a situation. For example, in Vietnam, if we arrive late to a meeting with friends, it is considered normal. Our friends won't mind. However, in Germany, if we are late, the other person may become very upset because Germans believe that arriving late for an appointment is a sign of disrespect. This belief creates a difference in emotional responses. Stoics have a special habit of cultivating this belief. At the end of each day, they set aside a fixed amount of time to reflect on what they have done throughout the day. They ask themselves questions like, what did I do that aligns with Stoic principles? What did I do wrong? Was there anything that caused me to lose control over my emotions and thoughts? What can I do better next time? This reflection not only helps them improve but also deepens their understanding and belief in Stoicism. Additionally, the next way to help them master those emotions and thoughts is that whenever a negative emotion or thought arises, they will relax and observe it without judging or suppressing it, allowing that emotion to gradually pass. This approach is similar to the advice given by Buddha on how to master emotions and thoughts. Another Stoic technique for mastering thoughts and emotions is meditation. The benefits of meditation are something that does not need further discussion. It helps us gain greater self-control over our emotions and thoughts. In the past, when we were in school, teachers taught us subjects like math, physics, chemistry, literature, history and geography, but they did not teach us how to master our thoughts and emotions. Parents or friends do not teach us either. Therefore, if we find ourselves in a situation where our crush rejects our feelings, we instinctively react by feeling sad and overthinking. But those who practice Stoicism will be different. When faced with rejection from a crush, their natural reaction may be to feel a bit sad. But shortly after, they will regain their composure and ask themselves questions like, is the crush's agreement or rejection within my control? In this situation, what can we control? They realize that the only thing they can control is their current thoughts and emotions. Because they have a deep belief in what can be controlled and what cannot, their emotions become a little lighter. Additionally, for the remaining emotions, they relax their bodies, observe, and do not react to those feelings. Over time, these emotions will gradually diminish. This is a skill that requires a lot of time and practice to master. Now, let me summarize the main points of the video once again. First, we explored the definition of Stoicism. In simple terms, this is a lifestyle that helps us achieve lasting happiness and inner peace, regardless of the difficulties or storms we may face. Next, we learned about what we can control and what we cannot. There are only 4 things we can fully control: our thoughts, emotions, actions, and reactions. Everything else is something we cannot fully control. The most important principle of Stoicism emphasizes that we should focus on what we can control and accept, not pay attention to the things that we cannot control. The next principle is to cultivate self-control through habits such as daily reflection, meditation, and facing negative thoughts and emotions by relaxing, observing, and not judging or suppressing them. When discussing Stoicism, we cannot overlook the trio of books: Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, Letters from a Stoic by Seneca, and the Enchiridion by Epictetus. You can find and read these works. Next week, I will create another video about the remaining principles and provide more examples of Stoicism. Be sure to tune in. Now, I'll see you in the next video. And I wish you all great day.